How do you build a company that lasts 500 years? It's a question worth asking, and there aren't many good answers. Over the last few decades, we've watched mom and pop businesses slowly disappear, while megacorporations grow more dominant. That isn't necessarily good for the world, but it is a predictable result of broken incentives. The dollar still works well for daily transactions, but it fails as a long-term store of value. That failure is by design. The dollar constantly loses purchasing power, not just against scarce assets like Bitcoin, but even against basic consumer goods. As a result, everyone is forced to save in other assets, primarily equities and real estate. This creates a feedback loop. People park their wealth in stocks, which represent the largest corporations, and in real estate, which drives up rent and operating costs for small businesses. In other words, the structure of the dollar system systemically advantages megacorporations and real estate holders while undermining local businesses. When the money is broken, the economy that grows on top of it becomes fragile, centralized, and less dynamic. Bitcoin breaks that cycle. It reintroduces the ability to save for the long term without being forced to speculate. Bitcoin is digital capital, perfectly scarce, portable over the internet, durable, divisible, and fungible. It's a monetary technology with properties that exceed gold, and it introduces a completely new set of economic incentives. Today's corporations don't want to hold cash. They take on debt, buy back stock, and optimize their balance sheets for short-term returns. Holding fiat means guaranteed loss, but this game only works when everything is up and to the right. The moment a crisis hits, those companies are over-leveraged and fragile. They only survive because of government bailouts like we saw in 2008 or March 2020. That's the legacy system. It's built to fail. But Bitcoin changes the equation. Now companies have a treasury asset that doesn't decay, an asset that can appreciate over time. Forward-thinking executives can follow the strategy playbook. Issue equity, accumulate Bitcoin, and build a robust balance sheet. Instead of borrowing and buying back shares, they're doing the opposite, deleveraging and acquiring a superior form of cash. That's the playbook for longevity. A company that holds 10,000 BTC with little to no debt is built to endure. It can survive recessions, inflationary shocks, currency crises, and geopolitical instability. It becomes structurally anti-fragile, capable of weathering events that would wipe out weaker firms. So how do you build a company that lasts 5 centuries? You start by accumulating Bitcoin. You strengthen your balance sheet year after year. You generate long-term shareholder value by increasing Bitcoin per share, not just dollar-based earnings. You stop playing the fiat game and start building with money that can't be debased. And here's the most powerful tool. You issue equity, whether public or private, to raise capital. If you're starting with no Bitcoin on your balance sheet, then any issuance comes at an infinite premium to your Bitcoin holdings. Raise fiat, convert it into Bitcoin, and now your company owns digital capital. Because equities are already monetized, because the world saves in stocks, your company's shares will likely trade at a premium to its underlying Bitcoin. This means you can issue more equity and buy more Bitcoin, growing your Bitcoin per share over time. It's a flywheel. Like strategy, you may begin as a $500 million business, and through disciplined issuance and accumulation, you become a $100 billion Bitcoin native enterprise. This arbitrage opportunity, this mechanism for acquiring Bitcoin at scale, may persist until hyper-Bitcoinization is complete. And it's how you can accumulate a staggering amount of Bitcoin while simultaneously making your company more resilient, adaptable, and prepared to navigate the unknowns of the next 500 years. The CEOs and founders who recognize this shift and have the conviction to act while it's still unconventional will be remembered not just as great operators, but as architects of institutions that outlast nations. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.